So welcome to the Secure Dynamics TechCast. With me, I have one former guest who's been here on the show many, many times, Lamont Orange, who's the CISO of Netscope. Welcome, Lamont.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again. It should be fun.
And I have Chris Zell, who is the VP and Head of InfoSec at Wendy's. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, folks. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to start off with a post of yours. I'm going to read it out verbatim because I think it's high impact and I want to kind of dig a little bit deeper into that. This was something you had posted on LinkedIn a few months ago. Hiring managers, cyber job seekers, I want to try something different. If you're looking for a position in cyber, please comment. If you're a recruiter, hiring manager, or otherwise influential in some way, please take a moment to review. We always hear about a lack of available candidates, but I think they are there. We just need people to see and listen. If you can help connect just one person with one new opportunity, that would be amazing. Who's first? And I was doing research on you and I saw there were about, last count, 600 plus comments and I don't know, 1,000 plus likes. But the point is, what prompted you to post this? And number two, looking at the number of people responding, clearly this hit a chord. So take us through that journey.
Yeah, thanks. So it was an interesting post. And I think what really prompted me to throw that out there was we continually see over and over articles, lack of talent out there. There's a negative unemployment in our field, 3 to 4 million probably unfilled jobs globally. But in a lot of the work that I do, both in my company and then in nonprofit organizations that I partner with, I see that there's talent out there, right? And so, what's the disconnect there, right? How does it we have so many unfilled positions, but we have a vast amount of talent that's out there, right? Particularly this large, in my opinion, untapped pool of talent. We've had this kind of bridge that needs to be gapped within diversity and inclusion and equity within our career field. And a lot of the work that I do in the nonprofit space, I see this firsthand. And so it's not that I wanted to throw, fuel on that fire, but I wanted to show folks it's not necessarily that there's a talent shortage that's out there. I think there's a visibility gap into where is that talent and how do we reach that talent? So I really wanted to give that talent some exposure, right? And then B, the folks that are actually looking for that talent, I wanted to find some way to connect the two. And so I think the second part of that question, was I surprised at the response? I don't think so, because as a hiring manager myself for many years, I know where to pull some of this talent from. But I've also worked very hard with my organizations and my teams to create job descriptions that really reflect and resonate with with that eager talent, the hungry talent, the motivated talent that's out there. Jamil Farshi, the CISO for Equifax, actually just yesterday, very timely post. He said, we've been searching for unicorns for so long, right? And what they've been able to do over there is they've really taken to heart the kind of build versus buy, right? And so I think that's something else that we need to look at. But I think what I just really wanted to do was bring some awareness to the kind of industry out there that, look, the talent is out there. And out of the 600 some comments, the vast majority of them were folks that were raising their hand. They're like, I'm available, I'm ready, I'm motivated, I'm driven. Do I have an alphabet soup of certifications? No. Do I have a bachelor's and master's degree? No. Do I have 12 years of experience? No. But this is what I know, this is who I am, this is what I'm ready to do for you as an organization. And so it did really resonate with a lot of people.
Wow, Lamont, I know you're a big mentorship guru and you like to try different experiments. So your thoughts on what has worked for you, both within Netscope, but also from a broader industry perspective?
So, I definitely applaud Chris for his post. It was very timely. It was very much needed. And when you look at and resonate on one of the comments that he said, we need to understand how to reach the different communities, because the talent is there. We've just been going to the same bag all the time, right? And we have to figure out how to get to some of these other areas. That was a great way to go do something different. It showed diversity. It showed that there are people there. Like you said, they were raising their hands. And I think that we have to be ambassadors of that within our teams, within our companies. And that's one of the things that we've done at Netscope. We've all become ambassadors and really embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion. and really for every person to have that avenue to say, hey, I know people. I know how to get into those communities. I want to also, send this into the recruiting organizations as to who to contact and make connections, because it has to be a grassroots approach. You can't just say, hey, I'm all for DE&I initiatives, and just let me know just point me in the right direction. That doesn't work either. You have to have that camaraderie around and support of the organization and the people in the organization to introduce you into these different communities and allow you to basically invite you in. And even in your companies, I think there's an opportunity, because the talent exists in the companies. So you create these communities and say, well, tell us a little bit more about what your aspirations are. Career pathing. A lot of these concepts are not new. We just need to expand it and to everyone and allow them to voice their opinions. And that's typically what we do in our organization. And there's always room for growth. Even some of the recruiting organizations, there are organizations that specialize in diverse community hire, giving you the opportunity to be part of those organizations. Sometimes it's an introduction. It's not always about how much it costs, because that costs nothing but time. So it's opening your mind, it's executing on it, and it's making the entire company, your workforce and your teammates feel like they're part of the solution. And I think you'll go far as an organization.
Yeah, you mentioned something about being ambassadors and being a grassroots effort, right? Now, for somebody who's invested a large part of their career building these alphabet soup of certifications, CISSP, so on and so forth, how do you get them to buy into the fact the world is changing, the world is shifting, and he or she it doesn't necessarily threaten their existence, but it actually makes the entire organization more secure? So, Chris, what have you seen that actually works?
Yeah, I think first, Lamont, you brought up some great points, and I really appreciate your perspective. Ashwin, when I think about my own experience, I'm a 22-year veteran of the U.S. military. Spent 22 years in the Air Force as a cyber guy the whole time. When I left the military, active duty at the time, 12 years in, I didn't have a degree, I didn't have any certifications, but I had a lot of experience like doing the job, right? I have since completed my schooling. I've completed, quite a few certifications, but in my mind, that was just to validate what I had learned kind of on the job, right? And I think the prevailing thought nowadays is, and at least from my perspective, in my job descriptions, I don't require certifications anymore. I don't require bachelor's degrees. And it's something I asked folks in the past, how many of us have a degree in pen testing, right? How many have degrees in AWS or Kubernetes, right? Or Python? It's really these days about the experience, right? It's the knowledge, it's the drive, it's the motivation. Cybersecurity is such a niche specialty that most of us, this is not just a 9-to-5 kind of job. Like, we've dedicated our lives, our careers, sacrifice family time to learn this stuff on our own and teach ourselves these things. And so part of the value that, when I speak to my HR partners, for example, and I try to lean in on that type of mindset, hey, we don't have to require these things anymore. It's interesting because while there are a lot of universities that are now starting to think about offering these cyber type programs, you just can't keep up, right? The technology changes so quickly. The bad guys are getting better every time. And so by the time you actually create the curriculum, by the time you actually plan out those lessons, and now you're 2 to 4 years in, the techniques, the tactics, and procedures have changed. So again, I really like Jamil's proposition around building versus buy, because that gives you the flexibility and the agility to train folks as you're learning through that process of how's technology changing, how are the bad guys getting better, right? So yeah, I think it's just, we need to really think differently as leaders in how we create these job descriptions, and kind of convey to more and more organizations that just kind of traditional degree certifications, they're just not necessary anymore. I love to hire for motivation, for drive, for critical thinking, because that's really what it's what it's about at the end of the day.
Lamont, final thoughts from you.
So I think you're spot on, Chris. I would say we do need to update our job descriptions for sure. That's where it starts, because many people read the traditional ones today and they also say I'm not qualified based on that. So you're deterring a potential great team member away because it looks as though that person is not qualified. I think the other thing around drive, I can't emphasize enough. I'm not, and for the audience, I'm not saying certifications and those things are not important. That's just one indicator now, where in the past, that was the indicator that said, yes, I want that particular person because they have that pedigree. But today, in today's time, with the way the threat landscape has changed and evolved, I agree, critical thinking is absolutely necessary. And even when I interview potential candidates and mentor candidates, it's about, what are you running at home? Especially if you're a cybersecurity professional, what are you doing? Are you working on your pen testing skills? Are you working on your code analysis skills at home? I mean, there's ample opportunity for you to do this and not get yourself in trouble. There's a way to do it. But it's more or less that shows me that you have that motivation and it's not academic. And this is an absolute mindset. This is absolutely a career field for a person that understands it's not 9 to 5, 8 to 4. It's kind of the bad guys work 24/7. We also have to work 24/7 and understand their work-life balance and get to that point of where we don't look so much as how we used to look at the job as, oh man, this is a great job. It's 9 to 5 and I get 3 weeks of vacation or PTO. I think we've redefined PTO as potential time off in security. It's not paid time off at all. we have to understand that. And that's a mindset in this field. I mean, we're fighting a very important battle against the bad guys. And for security leaders, CISOs alike, we have to band together to fight this fight, because our adversaries are definitely band together and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And we have to do the same, and we have to do it on a more frequent basis.
Great thoughts. Again, thank you for your time, Chris. Thank you for your time, Lamont, and looking forward to chatting in 2021.
Absolutely. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks for the time. This was great.